That rural-urban divide, we've seen that before, haven't we?
Yes.
It reminds me a little bit of David Goodhart's famous somewheres and nowheres a little bit. Do you discern that?
And I think, yes, and I think people who know France quite well from this country will tell you that once you get outside Paris, it's just completely different. It's a bit like what we saw during the whole referendum campaign, you know, the journalists who never really got out of London, the establishment people who just thought everybody thinks like us.
On Twitter.
And feel that they're being ignored, the public outside those areas. And I think that's obviously the same in France, that Le Pen has picked up people who feel that they have been completely ignored. Now, whether it will in any way influence Macron's policies that she did so well is hard to see. And I think for us in the United Kingdom, it's really, really interesting because he is now going to be the big wig in the EU, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because
inexperienced German Chancellor. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, this would be an opportunity for him to be much more reasonable about the immigration issue to do with the Dover situation. But who knows? And, you know, I'd be surprised if Le Pen disappears. It does look like that type of politics and the kind of populism is growing each election.
Well, on that, and help me with this. I mean, I was in Brussels for a few years and covered the 2002 French presidential election when her dad, Jean-Marie Le Pen, was contesting it against Jacques Chirac, who won. And at the time then, it felt absolutely right and fit and proper to talk about him being a far-right candidate. I looked at the scripts today and saw it written in as far-right candidate, and I scratched my head and thought, she's got 40-odd% of the vote. What should we call her?
Yes, and I think the media, particularly in this country, have loved it, the way they've been able to call her far right. There's no doubt about it, she has got rid of a lot of the people who might have been seen as real fascists, and her father obviously was. But clearly she has used the time since the last presidential election, when she did so badly in the end, to reform her party, to kind of reinvigorate it, and to move in the direction of where the average sort of person outside the kind of metropolitan areas are. And most of them are not, you know, they're not fascists, but they want to be listened to and they want to see changes. And there is a scepticism there about the European Union in France too, which she has built upon, even though she didn't make that the big issue.